We have any questions? Okay, we're good there. So we'll go next to the bench. And again, if you've watched the previous videos, I talk a little bit more about the technique, but I'm cutting the technique a little shorter because I'm including all the warm-ups. So for bench, when we talk about, again, human movement and being able to push something, when we're in normal motion, this sort of path, we get what happens in the shoulder blade. I don't think I can even show you. The shoulder blade retracts and depresses when we pull back, and it protracts when we push forward. Retract, protract. What happens when we've got weight on a bar? Okay, we're in this position. We've got a platform here that's stopping us being able to retract. As we come down with that weight, our back can't actually retract because it's pinned against a solid platform. And so in the setup, we have to retract before we even put the weight on the bar, before we get under that bar. Because otherwise we're going to be pinned, we're not going to be able to push correctly, and we're actually going to have a protraction happening with high weight, and it's going to cause an injury. So you'll see when people set up for this, they're in a really retracted, extended position. Okay, this is why we do it. It's actually to keep our shoulders safe. The muscles that are responsible for that, our rhomboids retract, they pull in. Our lats extend the spine. Our erectors. So we want to warm up all those muscles to get into that position. But then we're also pushing the bar away. So anterior delt, pec, tricep. We've got to warm up all those things to be able to be ready for this. So how do I do that? What's the recommendations? Well, first off, let's get into that row position. How do we get a nice strong retraction of the scapula, which is our shoulder blade? We want to do some sort of row. Because again, when you come down, that's a row. What I'll do here, just a simple light band, about diaphragm level. We want to get enough tension and just pull back, elbows as far back to our body as we can. Extending, coming back. Yeah, step away a little bit. We don't want it too heavy. We don't want to fatigue the muscles. We want the muscles to be strong, but we want them to be activated. So go ahead and pull back. Keep doing it over and over again. Again, not too much resistance. We don't want fatigue, but we want to warm up the ability for the body to do this. Okay, because that's what the position is in the bench. Okay, so there, warming that up. So we're warming up posterior delt. We're warming up rhomboids and that retraction. We're warming up lats as we pull down. All of those help us get into the right position. Okay, good stuff. Next, we want to warm up triceps, chest, anterior delt. Let's do it push up. And again, this depends on the person. If you have someone that isn't as strong, a push up might be too fatiguing. Okay, but we've got to push up on a bench here, so it's even easier than an actual push up because the gravity is slightly less against us at this angle. Do a couple push ups here, warming up the ability to press. Okay, if this is too much, you can do it against a wall, more vertical, or you can grab some dumbbells and do like a neutral grip press where you can get nice range of motion and then push away from. I mentioned last time you can even include that internal rotation and get more activation in the anterior delt, push away and turn, but we're trying to get that warmed up as well. So then here we go into bench. Normally we want to start pretty much an empty bar. We've got 10 pounds each side, so nothing big here. Not anything that will challenge Jagdeep. In order to get this position, okay, so we want to be retracted. How do we get retracted? We pull the shoulder blades back. When we pull the shoulder blade back, you see my chest pops up. Okay, this is thoracic extension. Thoracic spine is where my rib cage is. Okay, so pretty much all of this. If I retract my scapula, it pops my chest, which puts me in thoracic extension. If I do that, it also wants me to stick my butt out. Okay, so if I want this kinetic chain of muscle activation, pop the chest, retract the scapula, thoracic extension. Now I'm getting anterior tilt at the hips. This is posterior tilt, anterior tilt. Okay, so we want anterior tilt. All of that happens by the foot position. So laying back, we're going to get into that really retracted position. We're going to set up there, pull those shoulder blades in. Go ahead and pop that chest, pop that chest. What we can do is pull those feet back. Go ahead and pull them back until the heels come off the ground. So keep coming back and eventually you'll feel it's getting tighter and tighter and the heels want to come up. Once the heels come up, we've got it, we can cue here to push the heels down. So come back a little bit, get the heels up, good. Now the heels are up, I can cue, push the heels down, go ahead and do that. Push the heels down, and his whole body should tighten, okay? And he gets into even more extension at the hip, which puts in anterior tilt, which puts him in extension at the thoracic spine, puts him into retraction. So all of that cue from the feet goes all the way into the shoulders and puts him in a really rigid, stable foundation. We want legs pushing out slightly so they're strong. If I was to push against his legs, they're not going to move. So we want tense foundation, a strong foundation. And then we're ready to bench. Then we want to talk about, okay, how wide do I put our grip? Okay, where do we hold the barbell? This should be common width. Okay, so this should depend, again, on your ling length. Jagdeep's 6'2", so it's going to be probably wider than what I would do. We want the elbows to be about 45 to 60 degrees down. Okay, we don't want them to be abducted up here. Okay, when I talked about how we get into the right position through the whole back to get his shoulders in the right position to be safe here, we talked about the lats pulling down. Okay, being able to thoracically extend the spine. If I pull my elbows up, okay, my lats pull my elbows down. If I pull my elbows up, I've just turned off my lats. They're stretched. They're no longer contracted. So if I do this and I bench like this, I'm not in a strong, safe position in my spine and in my shoulder blade. I'm also likely to injure my shoulder. Okay, I'm not in the safe position, but I'm getting a lot of pressure now anterior delt. Okay, this is the main mover. Okay, if we bring it down, it's combination between tricep, anterior delt, and chest. It's abduction and extension. Okay, if I'm up here, it's not so much. It's anterior delt pulling in. It's still adduction, it's still extension, but the focus is primarily on just one muscle group rather than sharing it. So we want to bring it down around 45 degrees and get equal contribution where we're stronger and safer. And so width, you really can just, depends on the person, like I said, limb length, getting the elbow in the right position. It may take some time to see and practice this, where it feels comfortable. You do want it to feel comfortable, okay, within some reason. You want it to be right at the same time. So, and we also want to put the thumb around the bar. Okay, don't put the thumb the same side of the fingers. It has to go around. This is known as a false grip when you do it this way, or a suicide grip. Okay, because when you press, the bar can slip, and what's below the bar? His neck, chest. Okay, so thumb goes around so we can grip it and have a good forearm activation. We're going to lift up. Go ahead. Good, into that position. We're extended. We're trying to have a big chest. We're going to lower towards the diaphragm, the bottom of the chest. Good. And then we're going to push away towards the shoulder height. Okay, so this is a diagonal path. This isn't straight down, straight up. This is shoulder height to the bottom of the chest. There's about 6 inches change in the body position as you lower. Go ahead, big breath in, lower to the bottom of the chest, push to the top of the chest, to the shoulders. Right, so we're getting the chest to push, but we're also getting the deltoid, again, combination of both muscles to push up. Okay, we think of a shoulder raise. Okay, we're pushing and raising. More contribution from more muscle groups. How you feeling? Tired? Yeah. Put it down, go ahead, take a rest. Again, we cued the breath. Same thing, big breath in beforehand. Add pressure to the torso, stable foundation. We shouldn't be able to move at all. Okay, if any of this wobbles down here, it's not going to connect well to pushing the weight away. Okay, so we're cueing, we're getting those heels up slightly. We take a big breath in, we push the heels down, we get all that tension building, external rotation happening, extension happening, retraction happening. We're then ready to descend and then push away from a really strong, stable foundation. Big breath in, push the heels down, descend to the bottom of the chest, and explode away, push up to the top of the chest. Good, excellent, racket. So that was the warm-up and technique for the bench. There isn't really other methods to do bench. I mean, you can go wider with the hand position. If you go wider with the hand position, you're going to put more emphasis on the chest and less on the triceps that's extending away. Why? Because as you go wider, the distance that the bar is from you is less. So you're actually getting less vertical movement, okay, and then you're getting more abduction happening. So we can change the emphasis on where the hand position is. If we wanted to focus maybe on more chest one day or more triceps one day, if we bring it in, it'd be more triceps extending further, getting that arm movement. We talked about that warm-up, getting all of those muscles primed. And yeah, that's the bench. Questions on the bench?